Ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on, people? Back with a bang. This is Money Management, back here to bring you guys my watch list for this upcoming trading week. So it's going to be the first full week of trading in March. February was a great month. We had fun, we made money, we did what we need to do. And now we're going into March. So March, first week of March, I'm really going to be looking at a few bits of news this week, some interesting earnings plays, and hoping we kick us off in the right way this month. Now, before I do that, I do want to say, please, first of all, drop a thumbs up. These videos do take time, they do take a lot of energy, effort, doing the research, all that kind of stuff. And secondly, you know this is a grind, so you guys know how it goes. Now, speaking of grind, I do want to also say, if you are in the stock market, you need to be properly in the stock market. That means put in the time on your weekends, put in the hours during your after hours, after school, after work, after whatever, after the market closes. Put in the time, put in the grind. You really have to live these markets, understand your strategies, refine your strategies. And trust me, eventually you're going to get to where you desire to be. Now, without further ado, let's jump into the markets. Let's look at the earnings and news. And I'm going to start by just going on to Yahoo Finance here. So yeah, job reports this week. That's NFP Friday. Most likely we'll see the market push if we see good numbers. Before that, actually, you guys know about the crypto run right now. Actually, that's kind of what I've been doing in the last few minutes here. Just been looking at crypto. So we can actually just start with crypto very briefly before I touch on the earnings. So I've got Bitcoin up here. Very crazy 5-minute candles. Last 5 minutes, it's just been dropping. But yeah, Bitcoin was back at 64K briefly about 10 minutes ago. And we're still back on the way to 63K. Sorry, back on the way to 64K. If I pull up the 4-hour chart, you're like, whoa, yeah, this thing has been on a tear the last few weeks. And it really has been. So crypto's doing well. You see all the different cryptos in my watch list here are doing their thing. And it's a pretty good time for crypto. It's the weekend, crypto doesn't sleep. So, the crypto boys are enjoying their time right now, and I am as well. But let's just pull up the stocks which are reporting earnings. We'll just do this to start off with. So, Monday, not that much interesting. I mean, you've got GitLab, so that's DevSecOps. So if you're familiar with Palo Alto, CrowdStrike, Snowflake, a couple others, it's similar to that. Tuesday before open, you've got Neo on Target. Tuesday after close, actually you've got CrowdStrike itself and ChargePoint, so I'll be having my eyes on those. Wednesday before open, you've got JD. That's the main one before open. I guess Abercrombie & Fitch is a pretty strong company right now. And if you look at the chart from the past 2 years, you'll see just how well they have been doing. That's kind of a sleeper, slow growth right there. And then after that, I'd say Thursday, the main ones to watch are Bilibili. And then after hours, we've got AVGO, we've got Costco, and we've got Marvell as well. We've also got DocuSign. DocuSign can make or break people's portfolios during earnings as well, so maybe you keep that on your radar. But yeah, that's mainly it for the earnings this week. I'm not too intrigued by a lot of those, but I'm mainly intrigued by, CrowdStrike, AVGO, DocuSign, and yeah, of course, a couple others as well. But to be honest, I'm looking forward to this week. So let's just start off. Well, we're on the subject of crypto. While we're on the subject of crypto, let's just see Ethereum as well. So as you guys probably know, I've discussed this before as well. The Bitcoin has been running. The Bitcoin has been on its bike, and the Bitcoin is almost back at highs from 2021. I'd say that Ethereum is not really lagging behind, even though Bitcoin is the one with the ETF approval recently. One thing to note is what happens if Ethereum gets news about a spot ETF getting approved. I don't know if it's going to be this year or next year. What if that happens? Do we see Ethereum back on the way to 10K? Bitcoin is predicted to be at 100K by next year by a lot of people. So keep your eyes on that. If you're not invested in Bitcoin yet, I'm not saying buy now, but keep your eyes on it. It might have something for you. Now, let's jump into the stocks. I'm going to start with CrowdStrike because they have earnings soonest. They have earnings Tuesday after hours. So why have I got CrowdStrike here? Why have I got CrowdStrike's 4-hour chart here? Now, I'll pull up the daily, but still, why have I got CrowdStrike's chart here? So, cybersecurity, right? CrowdStrike's part of cybersecurity, this industry. This right now is actually a really hot industry. It's a hot industry which, is incorporating AI. You're seeing a lot of companies adapting different methods and manners in regards to what they're doing, just to make sure that they are protecting people's code, make sure that they're eliminating data breaches, all that kind of stuff. But the thing I want to point out is this industry is hot, but the stock price action in a lot of these stocks is not so hot. Pull up Snowflake, for example, one of those cloud stocks. Tanked, right? You see, it was up at 230, dropped down to 186, lows of 181. Look at Palo Alto, another stock from that sector. Look at that, was up at 375, dropped all the way down to 267. Okay, look at Cloudflare. Same idea, pushed up high, but then since the earnings, when it was at 116, dropped all the way down to 94, 95 again. So what I'm trying to get at is the share prices of a lot of these companies in this sector have been taking a hit recently. But when it comes to CrowdStrike and their earnings report, we're anticipating a good earnings. Look, let me show you. After every earnings, you'll see what happens. Earnings, last time, great. Earnings before that, great. Earnings before that, great. Earnings before that, great. It is common, it is normal with CrowdStrike. Why? Well, one of the things you want to note is their CEO, George Kurtz, has never actually missed on earnings, or never missed a quarter on earnings. So he's always reported well, and he's always beat expectations. Usually you'd say, yeah, that's a win. That's why the stock price keeps going up. This time, in the situation we are in, especially because of what Nvidia has done, it doesn't guarantee us anything. So actually, I'm expecting CrowdStrike's stock price to take a hit. I'm expecting them to beat earnings, as they usually do per quarter. But I'm expecting the stock price to take a hit. So maybe you want to look at CrowdStrike puts as a punt. Again, for me, as I usually say, I'll trade a continuation. One thing I say, like I said, with a lot of these stocks right now, they're in that situation where because of Nvidia just not only beating expectations, but just surprising the market with what they're doing, their innovation, the AI. A lot of companies around or in similar sectors are suffering. And it is a bit of a tough time for those companies in terms of what their share price is doing and the price action. So yeah, CrowdStrike, if I want to punt at that and I want to trade it overnight, if you do want to trade it overnight, I'll be looking at puts. But I am expecting them to beat earnings. George don't miss. So, they don't expect them to, miss earnings. And if they do miss earnings, then it's really going to tank. You're going to see CrowdStrike tank. Next up, I'm pulling Tesla on. Tesla, because again, if we're talking about CEOs, Elon Musk is the guy. But amid recent uncertainty, this stock has taken a little bit of a hit. Now it has started to bounce back and recover as I expected, as I mentioned, which is why I got Tesla calls for April 19th. And Tesla is starting to push, and no matter what you think about Elon and himself and his antics, he does know what he's doing, and Wall Street knows that. So it's not really likely that you see this stock drop back down to 180 anytime soon. From here, I do expect us to continue rising, maybe with some pullbacks along the way, as I say each and every week. It's kind of been consolidating in this little zone here, and maybe it's looking to break out. Last few days of the market, we did trade Tesla a couple times and we banked. So if you don't think you can trade Tesla in these times, come join the Discord, come trade Tesla with us. But I would say keep that on your radar for calls. That's what I'll be looking at. If we're talking about stocks breaking out, there's three different ones I can go with. In fact, I'm going to go with the two that are reporting earnings this week. I'm going to go with Broadcom, ticker symbol AVGO, which is already up high. You see, it's at 1400. It's overextended. It is a stock which is on a tear. If you look at the weekly charts for Broadcom, you will see this is very high. RSI is up there at 75, extremely high on the weekly chart. Monthly, ridiculous. 6 straight green months from October, dating back to October, when the stock was at $800, all the way now to where it's at $1,400, a $600 gain. I'll go back to the 4-hour chart because I just want to show you what I'm seeing here. When we do pull back, it's like we have a brief consolidation period and we rip up. We've had it a couple times, before we push up. We've had it a couple times. And right now, honestly, my price target for AVGO is around 1,500. But by Thursday, it could have smashed that. This stock can jump $98 in a day, as you saw Friday. It can jump $100 more than that in a day. We've talked about this stock a lot in the Discord. We've traded it a little bit as well. And I do see this going higher, especially before Thursday's earnings. Now, what are my expectations for AVGO's earnings? I'm expecting them to be, this is another one that's incorporating AI, just like the stock I'm about to talk about after this. And it's all positive news. This could do something similar to Nvidia, where a couple of days before earnings, they sell it off, they take profits, you see people covering their positions, and then earnings comes around and it booms, it flies. So trust me, keep that one on your radar for calls, AVGO. Another stock you should keep on your radar for calls, Marvell, ticker symbol MRVL. And if you look at the stock price or the stock chart, very similar patterns, right? In the last 4 or 5 months, very similar patterns. Marvell is up there. It's overextended right now on the daily chart, $77, gained 8% on Friday. But Marvell is up there, and I think it's going to continue rallying. Now, if I had to pick out a price target for Marvell, honestly, you need to scroll back far to see when it was last up at these prices. So that was, beginning of 2022, where we were up at $90, $93. And also just, this is interesting to point out. The earnings in end of 2021, we jumped up, we gapped up after earnings. So if we gap up this time, expect us to be back at $91. Expect us to see highs. Earnings middle of last year jumped up 46 all the way up to the 60s. Expect us to jump up $10 easily, minimum, if Marvell reports a good earnings. And I am expecting a good earnings for Marvell. Another company incorporating AI, another company from the semiconductor sector, another company which is seeing the benefits of AI and also reaping the rewards of what Nvidia is doing. Now, the only thing with Marvell is, just like with the cloud stocks and the software stocks, they do have to be careful. If they're not reporting anything overwhelming, anything crazy, you could see the stock price maybe sell off. Like I said, I expect them to beat earnings. I expect a good report, but hey, there's no guarantee that it flies. I do think it will fly, but again, there is no guarantee that it will fly, even if they beat earnings. A miss would mean the stock price drops. A beat doesn't guarantee it flying. So they need to surprise us. They need to come with something different. They need to show us, why this stock is one of the ones we want to be investing in right now. So yeah, Marvell, I'll be looking at calls. Another stock I'll be looking at calls is SMCI, Super Microcomputer. So for me, I see this going back up to 1,000 this week. Reason being, this is the technical analysis now. We pulled back to the moving average after hitting highs of 1,000. We dropped like $300 at one point, and we started pushing back up. Again, last week, sold off and started riding the moving average. And you can check multiple different time frames to kind of see what the price action is doing. We might drop another $15, $20. We hold it instead of selling off, then expect another push upwards. If we do start selling off, then hey, you can start to look at, brief puts, let's say down to 750, 760. Your best bet is to take something like an 800 put or 780 put, somewhere around there. And if it does sell off like it did last time, then your contracts will be in the money. If it doesn't, you still make substantial gains. But it's not worth dropping a $700 put. Your portfolio might explode. If SMCI decides to keep going as it has been, then your portfolio might explode. So taking the puts is a risky trade, and it's one I wouldn't recommend, but it might be there. Most likely, in my opinion, this goes up and it continues rallying at least to 1,000, probably to 1,100, the previous highs from earlier this year, and then it could be and beyond from there. Especially if Marvell report a good earnings, especially if Nvidia continues flying. Hey, this stock could be on the up again. And then a couple other stocks that I would like to point out: CSCO, Cisco. Calls on the daily chart. You could see a base kind of forming, potentially a double bottom here for us to push higher and back up to $50 and then eventually $53. And then another stock that I'd like to mention is Palantir to $30. That's my price target for this month. So we've ridden the moving average nicely. This last 2 months has been similar to what you saw with SMCI. You know, again, once AI was mentioned with Palantir in the earnings, this just took it from $16 all the way up to $24 very quickly. And, you know, at these levels, what we're trying to do now is push back up and break past these highs, get us back to $30. And then, yeah, and beyond, hopefully. Long term, I also like this one, so keep that on your radar. I also believe Meta gets back to 500. In fact, it's already at 500, so forget that. But I do expect Meta to continue rallying, continue pushing. But it's good to see it at 500. I still think this is actually slightly undervalued. I don't think it's overvalued. RSI is around 70, so it's quite high. But I don't think Meta's actually overvalued right now. Similar to Nvidia, to be honest. I don't think Nvidia's overvalued either. But that is it from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching today's video. As always, come check out the Discord. We'll be in there live from tomorrow. Always, you know, doing the usual hard work. The stock breakdowns are there. We talk about stocks. We put news articles there. We trade together. We trade in live. The call outs are there. Different people calling out different things. But most importantly, we're learning and we're winning. Also, make sure you check out the stock option starter pack. That is, you know, about 10 videos for you, about 3 hours worth of videos, and you guys, you know, can check out what's going on there. The link in the description below. It talks about how I trade options, the ins and outs, different terminology, the Greeks, all that kind of stuff. Again, go check it out. And then something new for you guys. Check out my smartwatches, Time Gear watches. Link is also in the description. I sell these smartwatches, get them manufactured and produced, and yeah, go check out the smartwatches. If you need something like that, it could be useful to you. So make sure you guys are back here next time for another video. Again, if you're not in the Discord, go join up the Discord. But that's it from me. I got money to making. You got money to making. See you guys next time for another video. Peace.